Before a single car took the green flag at Michigan, one man went on national television and told everyone exactly what was going to happen. Not a vague guess, not a "we'll see." A flat-out put it on the record prediction. And the man making it wasn't some random fan. It was Kevin Harvick, a NASCAR champion, a driver with 60 career wins of his own, one of the sharpest analytical minds the sport has today. Harvick looked at the Michigan race and said, plainly, that Denny Hamlin was going to win it. And then he went a step further, a much bigger step. He made a claim about Hamlin's future that had people doing a double take. He said Hamlin might get to 70 career wins this year. 70. That's a number that puts a driver in rare, almost untouchable company. So, the question that hung over the entire weekend was simple. Was Kevin Harvick right? Did the champion call it perfectly, the way the best analysts sometimes do? Or did he stick his neck out and get it wrong in front of everyone? And more importantly, was that wild 70-win claim genuine insight, or did he get carried away? We're going to break down exactly what Harvick predicted, the surprisingly strong reasoning behind it, that bold 70-win claim, and how it all played out. Let's get into it. Welcome back to Freedom Line News, channel where we don't just chase the drama, we actually break down what really happened on the track. If you're new here, take a second to hit that subscribe button. This community is growing every week, and we cover these NASCAR stories with the detail they deserve. All right, let's get into it. Now, before we get to the prediction itself, you have to understand why anyone should care what Kevin Harvick thinks. Because this isn't just noise. Kevin Harvick is a NASCAR Cup Series champion. He won the title in 2014 and put together a career with 60 victories. A genuine legend of the sport. Since stepping out of the car, he's become one of the most respected voices in NASCAR media through his show, Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour, where he breaks down the sport alongside co-hosts Caitlin Vincie and Mamba Smith. Every week, the three of them make their picks for who's going to win. And here's the part that matters most. Harvick has been on a hot streak with these picks just the week before, heading into Nashville. Harvick stuck with Denny Hamlin as his pick to win, and Hamlin went out and won the race. So when Harvick made his Michigan call, he wasn't guessing blindly. He was riding the confidence of having just nailed it. It's the context. When a champion who just called the last race correctly tells you who's winning the next one, you listen. So here's exactly what he said. On his show when it came time to make the Michigan pick, Harvick didn't hesitate. I'm going to take Denny Hamlin. But it was his next line that turned heads. Harvick added, Hamlin might get to 70 wins this year. And that statement that took this from a normal weekly prediction to something people couldn't stop talking about. Because picking Hamlin to win one race is one thing. Suggesting he could go on a tier that lands him at 70 career victories by the end of the season. That's a massive, bold claim. So let's break down whether either part of it actually held up. First, the pick itself. Was taking Hamlin at Michigan a smart call or a lazy one? Because here's the thing. Actually backed by some serious evidence. Michigan is one of Denny Hamlin's best racetracks. Period. In his career, he's won there 3 times. But the more telling stat is his consistency. Hamlin has finished inside the top 10 in his last 8 straight visits to Michigan. 8 in a row. That's not luck. That's a driver who simply knows how to get around that 2-mile oval. And just last season, Hamlin won at Michigan and went on to finish second in the final championship standings. So when Harvick picked him, he was picking a driver with one of the strongest track records at that specific venue of anyone in the field. But Harvick's reasoning went deeper than just statistics. And this is the part I find most interesting. On an earlier episode, Harvick talked about why he believed Hamlin would be a force this entire season. And it wasn't about the car, it was about motivation. Harvick pointed to everything Hamlin has been carrying. The heartbreak of losing the 2025 championship in overtime, despite leading more laps and scoring more points in the finale. The passing of his father. The injuries he's pushed through. Harvick's point simple but powerful. When a driver has done this as long as Hamlin has, you start looking for something to light a fire. And Hamlin right now has more fire than he's had in years. That's the real foundation of Harvick's prediction. Not just that Hamlin is good at Michigan, but that this version of Hamlin is racing with something to prove now. That 70-win claim. Let's put it in perspective so you understand just how bold it really is. Denny Hamlin currently sits at 62 career Cup Series wins. For Harvick's prediction to come true, for Hamlin to reach 70 this year, he would need to win roughly 8 more races before the season ends. 8. In modern NASCAR, where the competition is tighter than it's ever been, and any of a dozen drivers can win on a given Sunday, a single driver winning 8 races in a partial season would be one of the most dominant runs the sport has seen in years. So is it likely? Honestly, probably not. But that's not really Harvick's point. His point is that Hamlin is driving at a level right now where it's even worth saying out loud. And for a 45-year-old in his 20th plus season, that alone is remarkable. So how did it play out? Kevin Harvick nailed it. Denny Hamlin went to Michigan and did exactly what the champion said he would. He won the race. That's now back-to-back correct Hamlin calls for Harvick. And it's hard to argue with a man who keeps getting it right. More importantly for Hamlin, this win moves him even closer to history, and suddenly that 70-win claim doesn't sound quite so crazy. When you're winning races at this rate, the impossible starts to look possible. Harvick saw it coming, and Hamlin delivered. The question now becomes how far this hot streak can actually go. Here's the bigger takeaway regardless of how Sunday went. Kevin Harvick wasn't just throwing darts. He laid out a real evidence-based case for Denny Hamlin. The track history, the consistency, and the emotional fire driving a veteran chasing the one thing he's never had. Whether the prediction landed or not, the underlying point stands. Denny Hamlin, at 45, is racing like a man who refuses to fade. And when a champion like Harvick is willing to put 70 wins on the table, out loud, it tells you the rest of the garage is taking this version of Hamlin very seriously. That's what makes these predictions worth paying attention to. About whether the pick hits every single week, it's about what the smartest people in the sport see coming. And right now, they see a Denny Hamlin who is far from done. So now I want to hear from you. Do you think Kevin Harvick's 70-win prediction for Denny Hamlin is realistic, or is it way too bold? And whose picks do you trust more for the rest of this season? The champions in the booth, or your own gut as a fan? Drop your take in the comments, because I read them and I already know this one is going to spark a debate. If you got something out of this breakdown, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe to Freedom Line News, where we cover every NASCAR story with the detail it actually deserves. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.